Hello, my name is Kevin Johnston, and today we're going to be taking a look at my tile project. My original mechanism idea was just to push this interactable water pot into this flower tile. Now the water pot will not do anything on that space unless it has 3 drops of water in it. And if you walk onto this space as a player, it just gives you a little flick up, kind of hinting that it's not yet powerful enough to do what it needs. The new tile I introduced was this breaking tile you just saw. The original concept was done by Jeremiah Smith. The tile vanished when exiting, meaning when you exit, if I were to step off this tile, it would have been a pit. I changed it to where when you enter, it changes the material and makes a cracking sound and sets the boolean to has been stepped on. So if you step on it again, it sets the player's location and the tile's location, making it look like it falls. So you have to push the water pail into the drops without stepping on the red breaking tiles more than once. And once you collect all the water drops, there's this lovely little effect. And if you get the pot to the flower, it grows and blooms, and then the bee can step on this tile and win. Now I introduced the teleport tile we made in class to make things a little more interesting. This can take the pot. It will not take the player after doing so. So you have to use this singular path. If you were to push the pail on the singular path, you would be stuck. Anytime the pail is against the wall, you've basically ruined the level. You're going to have to restart. There's no way to push it, unless it's leading to a teleporter, which you'll see on the next level. Just want to show that this works every time. A little flick of the player. It teleports the player as well. And we got all our water. Oh, I also want to point out that I did this for the next level. Each water drop you collect in the pail boosts your stamina, I call it hydration, a little bit, because you could not finish this level if it didn't give you some kind of recovery. And I also lowered the amount it takes. It's 7 instead of 10 for the watering pail. I took the teacher's recommendation and changed the teleporter tiles so you know which one leads to which. As the player, I didn't want them to have to figure that out on their own. There's a lot of room for error on this level. Several mistakes can be made. Gotta be very careful, and I have tried to play it carefully and still lost many a times, but I'm hoping I get it. Alright, I think we're gonna have a happy bee here. And you see you barely have enough hydration to make it. One more push and I would have been done. But I win the level, and it's gonna take me right back to the first level, because that's just the loop I created. Alright. And that is those mechanisms for now. Let's go look into actual Unreal. Alright. So in the editor, it looks like this. These trees and bushes, they're literally just a child of the wall, made to look like trees and bushes. So breaking tile, here it is. It looks red, normal. They're just set to breaking tiles. My watering pail and flower tile, they're the same thing, no difference, just an entity. These water drops are new. I'll show you those after the breaking tile. But nothing really special about that. You play, and they work the same as they do when they're packaged. Restarts the level. Let's look at the blueprint. Alright. So at the beginning of play, we're going to go ahead and create a reference to the player to use for later. That way we don't have to cast every single time you step on one. And also set the play rate for the dropping effect later. Okay, so here we have the onEntered function. We've got a call to the parent function. Go ahead and make sure all that happens correctly. Check if the player ref equals the entity that stepped into the tile, and here we check if they have stepped on the tile before. So I have a boolean player touch tile. If they have not done this before, it's going to go ahead and set that to true, change the material, and play the sound of cracking. If they have stepped on it before, it's going to instantly disable the input, play the compile failed sound, and do this here timeline of dropping the player, which lowers the tile and the player. together. When that is finished, it calls the kill player function, restarting the level. So that's basically it. Fairly simple implementation there. But as far as the water drops, so these tiles, I just made a water looking mesh and I slanted them, that way I could have the cameras looking down at them and they look like a water drop, not just a circle. But on begin play, they do a call to the parent on entered function, and then they check to see if the entity is the water pot. If it is, do these once. I didn't want to risk that happening more than once. So just get rid of the water drop. Basically, I don't replace the tile, and I change the material of the tile to make it look like it's been used, a darker blue. And I also here make that call to the player entity of gifting them stamina. That's a function I created in the entity. And this is the water drop that you see on the side. This updates that UI, so every time I collect it, the percentages increase. Okay, so for the interactable, my water pot, so this literally is nothing special. It's just basically a box with a different look, except for this function here. So this is called by the water drop, and let me show you where that's called at. Right here, increase water amount. So when that is called, we get the water pot volume, increase it by 1. If it equals the water max, which is 3, it's going to set that it can water the plant, which is on the flower tile, on entered, call to parent function, as always. If it's the water pot, you see if it can water the plant. So if that boolean has not been set, it's not going to replace the tile to a win tile. It's not going to do anything. It'll play the compile failed sound. That's it. So you have to get all 3 drops. It doesn't matter if you get the pail to the space anymore. But that's the only thing new. I just wanted to show that because it was a pretty big add-on to that original mechanism of just moving the pot to the space. But yeah, that is basically it. One thing I had to do, because I didn't realize that the tiles in place, like if I were to put a wind tile here, you can just tell it what level to load via the string. So I made this blueprint here. You see this random purple or bluish ball floating. That is my determine level. It looks like this. It has no function in the event graph, nothing. It has no functions. The only thing it has is this one instance editable integer, which means I can set the level number to whatever I want. So this one is 1, and this prevents from every time the level resets, it changes the stats back to whatever they were. So this one is always going to be 1 no matter how many times it gets reset, so I can let the level check that, which is checked by the plant win tile at the very beginning of play. Get actor of class, BP determine level, see that level number, and then I have a loop of levels to load, and you can add as many as you want on here and say whatever you want, but I just have the 3 for now. Whatever the level number is, and I probably did an extra step here because I subtract by 1 to equal the array index. I could have just made the level 0, but I wanted it to actually be level 1, so I just subtracted 1. But that's it. That's all there is to it. Thank you for watching.